Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alexander Kazina, aka Cozy Bear, and this is Pitch Perfect, the only game show on the internet where two teams compete to deliver me the perfect pitch. Tonight, I am joined by an assortment of faces both familiar and new to Respawn Aim Fire. On the red team, we have Danny and Dave.
What's up?
Hi.
And on the yellow team, we have the stalwarts of Respawn Aim Fire, Chad and Adam.
Hey!
Hey,
What's up?
I figured out what that lump on my shoulder is, everybody. You should be worried.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. I want to give just a quick little bit of context. I have not been on a podcast with Chad and Adam for like over 2 weeks now. So all this stuff is very new to me, including the lump. And I'm a little bit concerned, if I have to be totally honest.
I don't think I know what the lump is.
It's not great, everybody. We'll talk about it later.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm so sorry, Adam. We're
Before-
gonna miss you.
All right. Well, we are certainly going into this with some weird energy.
And he's just like slipping in it and like falling all over his desk. And I'm okay. Oh God, it's so
Oh,
good. I
boy.
wish you could see what I see in my brain.
Before we go any further, I'm behooved to remind everyone watching or listening in at home that this production you're currently enjoying is part of a series of monthly rotating shows we do in addition to the Respawn Aim Fire podcast, and that you can enjoy new installments of this show a month early if you subscribe to us over on Patreon over at patreon.com/RespawnAimFire. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's get this show on the road. Pitch Perfect is a semi-improvised game show inspired by Kind of Funny's Debatable, in which two teams of contestants compete to pitch me various things that I will then rank against each other on an ever-growing list. Tonight, the four of you are going to be pitching me new Pokemon, but not just any new Pokemon. You see, as a longtime fan of the monster collecting franchise, I've had to endure a lot of shit over the years from people hating on some of the series' newer, more exotic creature designs. One of those creatures is a Generation 5 Pokemon by the name of Vanillite. Yes, that's its name. It's not just called the ice cream Pokemon. Many people felt that basing a Pokemon off of a literal dessert was a step too far, but I mean, look at him. Look at the little guy. Can you really hate something so serene? So lovable? People are often so eager to hate on what they disagree with, and Vanillite isn't even the craziest example of a non-animal Pokemon. Consider Rotom, also known as Rotom, depending on how you pronounce his name, which is an electric ghost-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. Using its spectral powers, Rotom, aka Rotom, can basically possess all sorts of household electronics and appliances, like washing machines and fridges, bolstering its own power in the process. It's a wild concept, but give him a chance and you'll find Rotom's gremlin-like glee just impossible to hate. Recently, however,
Rotom is
there has
backwards.
been a disturbance in the force. Shut up, Chad. That is Pokemon
I'm just
based
spitting truth right
on
now.
inanimate objects. You see, just a few weeks ago, I don't know if you're familiar with this game, Chad, I was walking around in a little game by the name of Pokemon Go. And I was suddenly informed that one of my eggs was hatching. And hatch it did. And out of it emerged a Pokemon that I had never seen before. A poison steel-type Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet called Varoom.
Oh, yeah.
Varoom is an abomination. I know I just did a long, winding speech about how we have to be more tolerant of the Pokemon franchise's crazier designs, but come on. Are you telling me that Game Freak finally decided to make an engine-based Pokemon, and this was the best they could come up with? It looks like if Squidward made love to a cement dildo. I feel like our combined brains could come up with a dozen better concepts for Pokemon based on engines than Varoom, which is exactly what we're here to do right now. Here's how it's going to work. As you can see, I have in this scene right over here that I'm going to switch to in just a second, but I was slow on the uptick tick. Assembled a list of 21 different vehicles and devices that all use engines in various capacities. They are a fire truck, helicopter, cement mixer, space shuttle, chainsaw, RV, scissor lift, tank, don't spoil the end, Chad, lunar lander, submarine, leaf blower, yacht, fighter jet, skidoo, steam locomotive, zeppelin, gas generator, road roller, wood chipper, jetpack, and as Chad Spoilsport Adam said at the beginning, also your last name's not Adam, which means that I am seriously unraveling right now. As Chad spoiled at the very end, a Subaru Outback. In round one of this game show, the four of you are going to be taking turns pitching me on how you would reverse engineer a total of 8 Pokemon from these devices. But, what's this? It seems like each selection on the board is being highlighted in rapid succession. That's because you don't get to straightforwardly choose what engine you're going to be basing your Mons off of. Instead, you're going to tell me when to stop the selection, and wherever the selection lands will determine what you're pitching. To make this simple, we will first go round the table and give all 4 of you the chance to make your first selection. Then once all the selections have been made, the person that chose first will be the first person to deliver their pitch of the evening, and so on and so forth. Then after the first 4 pitches are done, we'll go around the table once more and repeat the process. Everything clear as mud?
I'm nervous.
All right.
I'm pumped.
Guess what, Danny? You get to go first.
Yeah, it checks out. That sounds about right. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up the selection process, and you tell me when you want it to stop.
Okay, we're gonna play this like the arcade game. You sit there and wait. I know which one's one, and right about one more cycle. Hold on. Be patient with me. Stop.
Congratulations, you got the space shuttle. Not a bad first choice. Not a bad first choice.
It's in the ballpark. It's around where we want it. You know.
Dave, are you ready to choose next?
Sure.
All right, let's go ahead and let's start it up once more. Tell me when to
Okay.
stop.
This is like getting power-ups in Mario. So, you know what? I'm just gonna look off camera and go ahead and stop.
Congratulations,
Oh, hell
you
yeah.
got the leaf blower.
Oh,
All right, Adam, you little rascal. Are you ready to choose?
Man, he really wants to be me to be Adam today.
What's this? What's going on?
Is it Adam or is it the
Chad?
person you showed on the screen, which is me?
Go!
Who? You said Adam, but you showed my face.
Refused to answer the question. I like
Adam. Stop. Yeah, there you go.
Congratulations, Adam. You got the cement mixer.
Yeah,
All right,
love it.
Chad, let's go.
Jesus, Michael Christ. Okay. Stop.
Congratulations. You got the chainsaw, Chad. You don't seem particularly happy about the selection. All right. My contestants, are we ready to make our first round of pitches?
Sure. So remind me, like, are we pitching like what type they are, backstory? What are we pitching? Name?
I expect you to give as much information as you think is appropriate. And actually, I'm very glad that you brought up the aspect of typing, because I actually have something very helpful for you guys. I recognize that, not everyone on this show is necessarily as big of a Poke fan as I am. And so I have prepared a handy dandy chart of all the elemental types from the Pokemon games that you are free to consult at any time if you need help figuring out what typing to give the Pokemon you're pitching. So if you want me to bring this up at any time, you can let me know.
Okay.
All right. Danny, are
Yeah.
you ready?
I think so. I think I've pieced together something. We got this. I think we're ready.
Do you want to view the type chart, or are you ready to go?
I wouldn't. Can I give it up real quick? I think I have this
Yeah.
in head, but okay. So I want you and you, and then you. Okay. I think I'm good.
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay. So I have the space shuttle, and I thought, what do we do with this phenomenon? Do we just make it a space shuttle? That's kind of boring. Where's the fun in that? Now, there's a common creature that typically goes inside of a space shuttle, right? The monkey. We send monkeys to space all the time. So the image I've created is a monkey type Pokemon who, rather than having legs, has like the rocket like kind of strapped to his back. Like the back of his body is the rocket. And he is a fire steel type. He's a rocket, he's steel, and then fire type because the thrusters. But in like a reverse wishy-washy kind of way, as he launches into space and he drops the thrusters, he removes part of his body and goes from like big form to little form. So it's kind of like a disadvantage. And then he drops the fire type and picks up rock instead. So he becomes a little more of like a crashing down to earth meteor type deal. Shoot, I didn't think of a name for this little man. His name is Newton Putin. That's a great Pokemon name. It's
Hold on
I
a
love
second.
that.
It's and he's just a cute little man. Didn't think of abilities. He doesn't have any. No, he doesn't. It's a custom
totally
one, just
fine.
like Wishy-Washi's.
That is totally fine. I will say, when you've got to the part where you're like, oh yeah, it's a monkey, I'm like, I don't know if that's really in the spirit of what this is supposed to be. But the more and more you went on, the more elaborate that you got in your pitch. When you're like, oh, it's sort of like reverse Wishy-Washy, I was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy has a vision in his head for what he wants Newton Putin to be. I mean, here's the thing. It's the only pitch so far. And so the fact of the matter is that it has to go at number 1, but it's not a bad first one. It's not a bad first one at all.
Nerds, get
We'll-
up here, baby.
We'll see where things go from here, but yeah, certainly not a bad start.
I'll
Dave,
take it.
are you ready?
Okay. All right. So I have the leaf blower Pokemon. And so I'm going to go with of course, grass type and ghost, double grass and ghost type.
Okay.
And the reason I picked this is because ghost type Pokemon usually have messed up backstories in their Pokedex entries. So you could go with, a tragic beginning for a ghost type Pokemon. You could go with something horrifying. We'll say that this hypothetical leaf blower Pokemon possesses people who use it out of season, people who are using it, when you shouldn't be blowing leaves outside. Maybe you're using it for something else, causing a bunch of noise in the neighborhood. This Pokemon is a justice warrior for the quiet in the neighborhood. So it's going to possess the people who improperly use their leaf blowers, use them too loudly in the neighborhood. And they are cursed to leaf blow and wander for the rest of their time, and they can never let go of the leaf blower, and possesses them for the rest of their lives. And I'm gonna name this Goblo, and that is spelled Ghoblo.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Ghoblo.
Yeah, as in ghost. BLO.
Goblo.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very
Nice ghost blow,
interesting.
huh?
So here's the thing. I don't know if I would say that this is perhaps as creative as out there as Newton the Putin, but I gotta say, I feel like you did a good job of kind of sticking within the confines of what you might expect out of a, ghost type Pokemon based on a leaf blower. And Goblo, now that right there is a good name. You know what? I think I'm gonna put this one at number 1, directly above Newton Putin. Now, with both of our red contestants on the list, we have a total of 19 points for them and 0 points for the yellow team. But yellow team, it's finally your opportunity to shine. It's finally your opportunity to show what you can do. Adam, and I'm talking about actual Adam this time, not Chad Adam. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right.
My Pokemon is going to be a ground and water type.
Okay.
It is a little, think of an armadillo-ish kind of a creature, but like its back opens.
Just as
up.
a quick
Mhm.
reminder, which
Sure.
engine are you basing your?
Oh, I
Pokemon
have
off
the
of?
cement mixer. Excuse me.
Perfect.
Cement
Perfect.
mixer. Yeah, groundwater, obviously. It is a little armadillo guy. His back is like opened to where you would like pour in the cement if it was a real cement mixer. This Pokemon loves music and it's got little headphones on its head. And
Oh,
since Pokemon Company doesn't know anything about culture, it's basically the hip hop Pokemon. So it's got
okay.
headphones on its head and it spins around. That's how you make cement, obviously. And he's got sunglasses on and he's got a steel back. And this guy's name is Diz Rolla.
Diz Rolla.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Like Dizzy Roller because it rolls around
Yeah.
and makes the cement, which cement is ground and water mixed
Oh.
together. Come on, Cozy. What do you know about cement? Obviously
Okay, see,
nothing.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was going to put this one at the bottom of the pack so far, but when you explain the logic behind its name, I was like, okay, I kind of get that. You know, the Pokemon franchise has dabbled with Pokemon based on dizziness, you know, every now and then over the years. You've had Spinda, which is like that bear rabbit like Pokemon that constantly is like wobbling back and forth because it's, you know, all dizzy. You have the move Dizzy Punch, but I feel like it's been a while that we've had another good dizzy Pokemon. And so I do appreciate you showing some representation in that regard. And so I'm actually going to put this guy at number 2, above Newton Putin, but underneath Goblo. All right, Chad, real Chad this time, also known as Adam. Are you ready?
All right, so I have Chainsaw as
Okay.
my Rotom, as my engine, and we're gonna play a different game where Pokemon, as of the last several generations, likes to introduce new evolutions for existing Pokemon,
Okay.
and so we're gonna introduce an alternate evolution for Happiny.
Oh.
Happiny, of course, being the baby version of Chansey that you hatch from an egg. But when Happiny faints in battle too many times before it has the opportunity to evolve, instead of becoming Chansey, it becomes Chansaw, a ghost steel Pokemon.
Okay.
So it is the version of Happiny that dies and doesn't get to fulfill its becoming this happy, blissful, Chansey kind of thing. It is now Chansaw. And it is so distressed and distraught. And by the way, the steel type comes from rigor mortis setting in.
Okay.
So it is this now hardened rigor mortis egg-shaped Pokemon. And its signature attack is similar to like a Sonic Spin Dash because it is an orb, basically. And it is so angry and is rolling in its grave, hence the Spin Dash. And that is Chansaw. Also the past tense of C. Chansey, Chainsaw, Papa John's.
A lot of interesting ideas at play here. I weren't expecting you to bring up the Divergent evolution card this early on in the show. I mean, that, you know, Chad, you like to act like, you know, I'm not like the big Pokemon fan, but you're popping out interesting factoids, alternate Happiny evolutions like it's no one's business. And I do respect that a lot. I was kind of hoping that maybe we would get maybe just a little bit more insight into kind of like what this guy's deal is when it's living out in the wild, living on its own, you know, what its sort of like general like kind of like attitude is about here, there, and everywhere. As it
It's
stands,
dead, Cozy.
I mean, certainly that's a big part of its personality, but I don't know. I don't know that this guy will rank super low in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like right now I'm going to have to put him at the number 4 spot on the list, underneath Newton Putin.
The name alone brings it up to at least 3. Oh my god.
You do have to remember, you are Chad in this game.
Chainsaw
right,
over
that's
Newton
right.
Putin, though. Come on, man, you can't compete. Newton Putin.
All right, guys, we have rattled off our first 4 entries on this list. Are we ready to do another 4?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's do this in reverse order. Chad, real Chad, also known as Adam, you are up first.
Stop it!
Congratulations, you got Zeppelin.
Nice.
Adam, also known as real Adam, also known as Chad. Are you ready?
Yep. Stop.
You got tank. You didn't give me a lot of warning there.
I know. I was trying to keep you on your toes.
All right, Dave, you're up next.
Stop.
You got the jetpack. All right, Danny, you're last.
I'm gonna give it a whole cycle, baby. I gotta get my pacing here. Ready? Stop. Let's go. That's what I needed, baby.
You got the RV.
I got the RV, baby.
All right, Chad, aka Real Chad, aka Adam. You ready?
Yes. All right, so we're going with the alt versions of Pokemon again. You know, there's Galarian versions of Pokemon, there's Alolan versions of Pokemon. So there's another ghost line. Starts with the good old Drifloon, right? That balloon Pokemon. And instead of evolving into Drifblim, which is a blimp, it evolves into Zepblim. Zepblim. Zeppelin.
Zepblim.
And in this version of the game, like whatever new region we're in, these are steampunk versions of these balloon type things. So you can picture, little gears on it, maybe a little top hat, a raven circling around it, perhaps as its little buddy. And this Pokemon is Ghost and Steel because of Led Zeppelin.
It's a lot of ghost types this time around, I gotta say. A lot of ghost types being pitched.
Well, you gave me
says.
the things that require ghosts. I'm just saying those are the obvious conclusions you can draw from it. So yes, this is Zepblim, the steampunk evolution of Drifblim in this steampunk region, and it's Steel type because of Led Zeppelin.
I mean, here's the thing. I like Drifloon a lot. I like Drifblim a lot. I mean, Zeppelin is a great name. I feel like conceptually, I really like the idea of, a regional variant of Drifloon that evolves into this Zeppelin-themed Pokemon. But I mean, that was a pretty weak sauce pitch, if I got to be honest, Chad. I don't feel like there was a whole lot on
to think of it.
Well, you can blame Adam for not taking more time. Adam could have given you more time by letting the thing go for longer and longer, but he decided to screw you over. So please be mad at your own teammate and not me. I'm going to put this guy at the bottom of the list. All right.
Adam, you're just going to let him do that to us?
Adam, a.k.a. Real Adam, a.k.a. Chad. Are you ready to go?
Sure.
All right. Let's hear
So,
it.
Cozy, I need you to be on my side on this one. I'm trying something new because I don't play these games for babies.
Okay.
So, I know that there are Mega Evolutions, and I know that there are regional variants. So, I don't know if this one already has a Mega or a Terrastalize or what the fuck ever they call that. But this is an alternate.
Very well for a non-playing these baby games.
Yeah, I know, right? This is
Not
an
talking
alternate.
about your Z moves, dude. Do it.
Give me all of my whatever. So this is an alternate version of a Pokemon we already know, but I think it would be sent in the one that's set in America.
Okay.
Is X and Y, right?
That is black and white.
Sure, whatever you say. So we're gonna do that one. This is a tank Pokemon. It is an alternate version, Mega Evolution, whatever you want to call it, regional variant of Blastoise.
Okay.
So instead of just being a turtle man with two rockets or two cannons on his back, he becomes water steel, and he goes into his shell. And instead of where his arms are, it looks like there's little treads because his hands are poked in, so it looks like treads, like a tank. And his cannon becomes one mega cannon on the back instead of the two. And he rolls around, and he has a lot more defense and armor or whatever. If those games have stats, right? More defense skill.
Yeah.
And his thing is he becomes a literal tank. He is harder to kill in his Mega Evolution form, and he has a singular attack that does more damage than the two cannons at once. And he got little treads on his sides because he's a turtle tank now.
See, I feel very conflicted about
Oh,
this one.
by the way, his name Blackstoise because he's in Pokemon Black.
Okay.
I hate to admit it, Adam, but I think that actually cratered this particular pitch even lower.
Of course it did.
Because typically Mega Pokemon are just called like Mega Venusaur, Mega Alakazam, Mega
Mega
whatever.
Blackstoise,
Now
that's
there are here's the thing.
Already
Here's the
exists,
thing. There
brother.
are certain instances in the games where you have like two different versions of Mega Charizard, for example, and they're called Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y. I was gonna call this Mega Blastoise just Mega Blastoise
Cozy, how about
T
this?
for tank.
Give me some credit because I don't know anything about this. Let's call him Mega Blastoise Black because he's in Pokemon Black.
I'll
And all of
I'll
my
allow
characters
it.
are black coded, so that's
I'll
what he gets.
allow it.
He's
Yeah,
got
I mean,
sunglasses and headphones.
okay, you know what? That got you a little bit more in the standing,
Sure.
but not perhaps as much as perhaps you were hoping, because here's the thing. If you look up Mega Blastoise online, the actual Mega Blastoise has already existed as of 2013. It's
would I know
pretty
that?
much exactly the Pokemon that you described, just
is it
without
really?
the tank treads. Like literally the two cannons on his back transform into a singular cannon coming out of his back
Oh,
like
wow,
a
you're
tank.
right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't go on all four and have treads though.
Right, which I do have to give you credit for
And he
that
doesn't
one.
have
And
black
look,
in his name.
that too. And I got to give you credit for going for the Mega Evolution. Would not have thought of that. But yeah, I am. Where do I wanna?
Not gonna lie, they have statue of this guy. This guy fucks. I kind of want one of these.
Mega
You know
Blastoise
what?
baller, dude.
You know what? I'm not gonna rate this guy super highly, but I'm not putting him at the very bottom either. He's gonna go at the number 5 slot, above Zeppelin, but underneath Chainsaw.
Love it.
All right, Dave, are you ready?
Yeah, let's
Get
do
it,
it.
Dave. Up from here, buddy. Let's go.
All right. So I have the jetpack Pokemon. So I got to thinking, Pokemon likes to take stuff from pop culture. What is a pop culture figure that has a jetpack? Boba Fett has a jetpack. So we're going to
Okay.
go with non-actionable Boba Fett. So it's going to be a fighting type, of course. You got to get dirty, doing bounty hunter stuff, assassinations and stuff, and got to be flying type also because it has the jetpack as its primary mode of moving around. So we're going with a legally non-actionable Star Wars inspired bounty hunter Pokemon. Pokédex entry, I think, for that speaks for itself. Doing bounty hunter stuff, killing people, tossing them in the Sarlacc pit, legally non-actionable Sarlacc pit. Danny, you should make a Sarlacc pit Pokemon next. We can have some
Ooh.
synergy.
Listen, if I can
Between
get the
our,
right item, let's do it.
Yeah, between our Pokemon here. So yeah, I've got a fighting flying type. It's got a jetpack on its back. It flies around, doing evil stuff, taking contracts from, I don't know, some mob boss Pokemon. That Danny, make a mob boss Pokemon so we can have some synergy.
Listen, if I get the right item, dude, I'm down.
Yeah. So that's my Pokemon. It's got a jetpack. Let me say fighting, flying, and we're gonna call it Joba Jet. Yeah,
Oh
Joba
my
Jet.
God.
Ooh.
This guy literally just says Boba Fett, but not. And watch
He
it
said
go right
Joba
at the top
Jet.
of the
It's
list.
That's not what he
it's
said.
Boba Fett
Watch it
and
go right on
Jango
the top
Fett
of the
put
list.
together.
Didn't
So
describe what
it's
it looks
not
like
the
at
same.
all.
I
It's just
don't
like, hey,
even know
Boba
what
Fett,
to
but it's
think
not
of this
Boba
one.
Fett.
I gotta be honest. Most of these
That's
ones, I'm
good.
like,
That's
oh,
what I was
that's
looking for.
that's
We
really
just
interesting,
confused
but
Cozy,
like,
so we puts it at the top.
I don't know about that. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Question number 1: is the
Sure.
Sarlacc pit part of the monster?
Part of the what?
You, in your description of what Joba Fett is, you're like, oh yeah, he can fly. But so hold on, is the Sarlacc pit its own monster, or is it like, are they like connected to each other? Like I'm a
who's
little
the
bit
mob boss?
confused.
Say it's like a Zangoose Survivor type thing.
Yeah, it's like a Zangoose Viper type thing. They're different.
Okay,
but the
here's the thing.
ecology connects them.
I appreciate that assist from Danny, but also that what that means, if you're saying a Zangoose Survivor thing, is it means that the Sarlacc pit, the legally distinct Sarlacc pit stand-in,
Right.
is its own Pokemon.
Yes.
And you're not supposed to be pitching 2 Pokemon. You're supposed to be pitching 1.
Oh, I'm pitching one. You pitch the other one. I'm just saying the
kinda did.
ecology
You kinda
fits
did, Cozy.
together.
Yeah.
You know what, Danny? If you know everything there is to say about the Sarlacc pit Pokemon, I want you right here, right now to pitch it.
Sure. Does this take my turn? Do I
No,
like this?
you
is,
still have
okay.
to do your own turn.
Okay. So the Sarlacc pit mon, it's very like dormant. It doesn't move a lot. But Dave's Pokemon, very abundant in like nature, trees, you know, where you'd see like little Ewoks running around and stuff, right? But this Sarlacc pit Pokemon kind of chills in the middle of the forest and waits for these Boba Fett dudes to start flying around. And they're like, oh, they're weak, they're vulnerable. We'll snap, and they'll start dragging them down, right? So that's kind of how they sit and wait for their prey. That's when they grab the previously named Boba Fett dude, who I forgot the name of, but that's where
Joba Jet.
Joba Jet, yeah.
What's the Sarlacc pit Pokemon called?
Squee.
Perfect.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you were able to pitch that like at the drop of a hat without any more prompting. I mean, that's really
Absolutely.
impressive. But also, there's nothing about this that legally distinguishes it from the Sarlacc pet in Star Wars. At least
It's named
Joba Jet.
Squee. It's named Squee. It wasn't called Sarlacc.
Joba Jet has at least a couple things going on. I mean, Squee.
Does it?
I'm just saying, what Sarlacc pit have you seen previously in the forest? Because I sure haven't. It was in like
That's
that
right.
desert spot. And
That's
trust
right.
me, I'm the best Star Wars guy around.
I'm afraid that I'm going to have to put
That's
Joba
crazy.
Jet
That's
and
wild.
Squee
We get two
at
picks though.
7 and 8.
There we go.
All right, Danny,
All
you
right.
got one more pitch to give me.
I'm
Let
ready,
me hear it.
baby. So check this out. So it's like a Sarlacc pit mob boss type thing, right? Okay. So round one, I probably played this game all wrong. I saw the RV. I'm like, I want that RV because I already got the idea. Didn't get it. Round two, I locked it in. This little man's not a little man. He's a big man. So imagine half frog, half RV. Big, chunky boy.
I'm in.
He's got big hands that kind of grip around giant rocks. He's an electric rock type, okay? He likes to sit in parking garage, hang out with cars, like no one's going to see me, no one's going to try and drive me away, kind of sleep. But when he gets going, he starts leaping down the road. He's generating electricity. So the longer strides he takes, kind of puts these rocks in like the wheel stall type thing and starts using his legs, full send, generating. That's how he charges up his electric abilities. What's his name? Toad Trip. 2 P's.
Ooh.
Toad Trip, as in like
Toad Trip.
TOADTRIP.
TP. 2 P's. 2 P's.
Oh,
TP.
2
There you
P's.
That's a Pokemon name.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, minus the ladies because there are no ladies in the room right now. That right there is how you deliver a pitch. This was a round of stinkers except for Toad Trip. That
Let's
is
go.
a legitimately great entry. I mean, there are so many spots where I could put Toad Trip in on the list here, but you know what? I think we got a new number one on our hands.
Let's go,
Boom.
baby.
There we
Toad
go.
Trip's the boy.
And
I
with
love
that,
I love a Pokédex entry that starts with "It likes to hang out in parking garages." I am 100% in.
it's a great idea and not something we've seen before in the Pokemon games. With that, we have arrived at the end of round one. In the first spot, we have Toad Trip, the RV-based Pokemon. In the second spot, we have Goblow, the leaf blower-based Pokemon. Number 3, we have Dizrola, the cement mixer Pokemon. And number 4, we have Newton Putin, the space shuttle Pokemon. At number 5, we have Chainsaw, the chainsaw Pokemon. At number 6, we have Mega Blastoise Black, the tank Pokemon. At number 7, we have Zeppelin, the Zeppelin Pokemon. At number 8, we have Joba Jet. Oh, man. And at number 9, we have Squee, the illegal Sarlacc pit Pokemon that has nothing to do with tonight's theming. Whew. With that, it's time for round 2. As I'm sure you all know, in the world of Pokemon, there is a special phenomenon that occurs when a Pokemon has passed a certain threshold. A phenomenon that Chad has already alluded to in some of his pitches called evolution. No, I'm not talking about the 2001 movie directed by Ivan Reitman. I'm
Fun
talking
movie.
about those critters' ability, it's okay, to transcend into a completely different, more powerful form when the correct circumstances are met. It's always a beautiful sight to behold. And you know what? That's what this round is all about. I'm going to give
Excuse me,
each
did
of
you
you...
just talk to that Charizard?
Oh, yeah. He was there. He's very gun shy, but he disappeared in an instance. But I definitely talked right to him. I'm going to give each of you 2 opportunities, like in the first round, to choose a new unselected engine from the topic selection scene. And then you're going to pitch me on how you would turn it into a Pokemon that is also an evolution of one of the other engine turn Pokemon that your team has already previously pitched. So, for example, Chad, if, for example, I were to go at you first and you were to choose, say, hypothetically, the yacht on the list, you would be able to go over and be like, okay, I'm going to pitch this yacht Pokemon, and it's an evolution of Dizrola. It's an evolution of Chansol or Mega Blastoise Black. That would be illegal, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stop you. It'll still be at the last spot on the list. Whichever one is up to you. And I expect your pitches to explain under what circumstances your evolution occurs, how this evolution makes sense with regards to the original Pokemon's lore, and all that fun stuff. And yes, if you so choose, you can have the Pokemon that you pitch be an evolution of another Pokemon that has been pitched that is itself an evolution of another thing. So if Adam goes after Chad and he wants to pitch a Pokemon that's an evolution of Chad's unselected engine Pokemon, that's totally in his right. Sounds good? All right. Well, in that case, let's return to the topic selection scene. Like with the first round, we'll go around the room once, hear all 4 pitches, and then repeat the same process. We will return from the top, which means, Danny, it's your chance to choose once more.
Okay, so we can only take our own Pokemon. We can't use the ones from the other players' teams?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Let's begin the process.
Oh, baby. Let's do this. All right. And stop.
Congratulations. You got the Road Roller.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Dave, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah, stop.
Congratulations. You got
hell yeah.
a gas generator. Chad, aka Real Chad, are you ready?
Yeah, gas generator was my nickname in high school.
Okay.
Hardly knew it.
Stop.
You got the fighter jet. Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. And finally, Adam.
Fighter jet would have been a good name for Boba Fett or whatever it was.
It would have actually. Sorry?
I'll do it again.
Yeah, sorry. Everybody was talking. It's their fault, not yours.
Stop.
Congratulations. You got the wood chipper.
So bad.
There's still 4 more chances to get it after this. So you will certainly have your chances.
Can we see
Danny?
our list again?
Yes,
'Cause
I was just about to bring it back up again. So take a good, long, hard look at the list, and Danny, you can let me know when you're ready to give your pitch.
I think I'm good here. I think I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
let's
ready.
hear it.
Now, we've all seen those evolutionary lines where stage 1, clearly the best. Stage 2, we really don't need it. We didn't want it, but it's there. You know, a couple stat boosts, whatever. Now, everyone loves Toad Trip. Nobody thinks that needed evolution. Could have been standalone. However, Nintendo said, we got it. Let's go from an RV to a road roller. This guy's name is Croakin' Rokin, right? Big old frog, still a big old dude, but those rocks that he used to keep in like the wheel wells kind of merged. So he has one giant, almost like Conkeldurr style, like roller in the front. And then the back legs just turned to big boulders. So he's kind of like hunched forward, like Quasimodo style. But then as he's rolling down the road, now he becomes pure rock type, Droxy Electric. He ain't about that. He ain't zapping no more. So now he's just going and spinning that big old wheel, trying to keep himself going, running over enemies, knocking them down. That's Croakin' Rokin.
How do we spell him?
Kroakn.
Krokn.
Roakn.
Roakn. Croakin' Rokin.
That's the boy.
I mean, I gotta say, another great pitch. 2 great pitches in a row. You know, we're discounting Squee, the Sarlacc pit Pokemon.
Yeah, listen, they had to make it the counterparts, and we all admit Squee was the weaker one, but part of the ecosystem got to be there.
Here's the thing. I'm a little bit more... The idea of road trip, I think, was just a little bit more attractive to me because I like the idea of a dual rock electric Pokemon. I like the whole frog angle of it hanging out in parking lots. But I mean, this is a solid ass evolution. I mean, I gotta follow my heart here on this one. I gotta be honest to myself. I think that we've got a new number 2.
Let's go, baby.
It's going directly under road trip. All right, Dave, are you ready?
Are you ready? That's the real question.
Oh,
So
shit.
I got the gas generator engine. So when I think gas generators, we're using one power source to create another power source. That can go wrong if you're not careful with it. And so I am saying, I'm going to make up a new form of evolution. I'm not sure that this has ever been done before
Oh,
in
shit.
Pokemon. A merging evolution where two
What?
Pokemon merge together. Has this been done before? I didn't play Scarlet and Violet.
Yes, very seldomly in some generations.
Okay. All right. Well, what's it? Joba Jet and Squee, through a horrific electricity
Shut the fuck
accident,
up.
have now been merged together. One of them was, Joba Jet got too juiced up, plugged into the generator, trying to get some extra power, got swallowed up by the Squee. Hilarity ensues, and out comes out this combination of the two. And the Sarlacc pit, for those unaware, is lined with spikes. Now Joba Jet's outside of his body is covered with those same spikes. So we've added on a dark type. I'm trying to think of what type of Pokemon fits the dark type. We're dropping the fighting, so it's now flying and dark. Still got the jetpack, of course. Now we've got dark type because whatever is horrific, dark type fits. You don't want to see that thing in a dark alley at night. No. So its name is Squeeba Jet.
Yes, Dave.
Trying to keep the naming
yes.
consistent.
Okay. Here's the thing.
It's a fan favorite if I ever heard of one.
This entry is literally hanging by a thread, and that thread being the creativity of combining Jobajet and Squee together. I don't think there's anything else at all that's redeeming about this entry, but I do appreciate the effort to try to creatively redeem the two worst guys on the list. I'm going to put this guy... You know what? I'm going to put this guy directly above Jobajet and Squee.
Oh, they're sharing a list. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I love that it's such a long entry that it actually
cuts off
cuts off the side of the list. That might be something I have to adjust for the future, or maybe not. I think it's actually pretty funny as is.
Yeah, it just
Funny.
adds to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Squeeba
All right,
baby.
Chad. Are we ready?
All right, so mine's got some deep lore and some circumstances around it.
Okay.
So we're talking about an evolution. Sorry, my motor or my engine, by the way, is fighter jet.
Okay.
So the evolution is to Zeppelin, which we all know is the steampunk regional variant evolution of Drifloon. So Drifloon, what's really fun about it is in one of its Pokedex entries, it talks about, when parents aren't looking or kids aren't paying attention and it's tied to a kid's hand, it tries to, float away and take that kid and essentially kill it by floating up into the atmosphere and suffocating it and freezing it to death. Here's what happens. Steampunk Zeppelin exists in like a, past, super far past kind of steampunk type region. Pokemon Legends Arceus introduced this idea of Pokemon being taken out of their normal region and normal time and suddenly transported into this alternate timeline or alternate dimension. We know that Legends, whatever, X and Y, or Black and White is coming, which is, set in a modern day American-based city. So instead of a steampunk Zeppelin, when you trade Zeppelin to a copy of this new Legends Black and White, whose name I forget, and it becomes this archaic Pokemon in this new modern world, it evolves into a fighter jet type Pokemon. Here's the thing. With the soul of the kid that Drifloon took away, named Jeff. This is a fighting, flying Pokemon. Fighter jet, fighting, flying Pokemon. It no longer is dead. It is a soul taking on this fighter jet type Pokemon called Fighter Jeff. The kid's name was Jeff.
Okay. Wow. Chad, you've had a number of, surprises as of recent. There have been a couple of game shows over the past couple of months that you've been able to eke out unexpected victories on. This year might be the single biggest glow up that I've ever seen out of you at any of these game shows. I mean, Zeppelin, like I said, interesting. I like the idea of a, divergent evolution for Drifloon in this other region, but like, I didn't feel like there was a lot of meat on the bone here. Fighter Jeff, with the bit of lore that it's this Pokemon that's like transcending over to a new, more modern generation, and it's absorbing and becoming the spirit of the child that it took away, incorporating the actual twisted lore of the Drifloon evolution line. This is like, I gotta say, this is top class stuff. I gotta be honest, man. I gotta be honest. You know what? I think I'm gonna put this guy at number 3, underneath Crockenroken, above number 4. Hey, it's a good one. It's a good one, Chad. It's real good.
Oh yeah, it feels good. Those numbers got to stop sometime. What is the actual score?
They can't. There is no more math. We both win.
I tried to go away from the scene, but I don't know what's going on. Hold on a second.
It's a tie. Everyone, thanks for coming out. We did it. 5 and 5. Thanks for coming.
I did an entire show, and this never happened last time. Hold on. We'll have to figure out something. Okay. Adam, while we try to figure out what the hell is going on with the scores, it's time for you to reveal your final entry for this round.
Quick question before I do this. This is why I do this. Chad, what was your Pokemon's type? The Chansaw.
Chansaw was a Ghost Steel.
Ghost Steel. Okay, cool. So this is going to be an evolution of Chansaw. It is a wood chipper Pokemon. And the idea is that, so Chansaw came from the baby whenever the baby dies a lot, and then it becomes this more evil type of Chansey. So this is the evolution of that. Moving on in that, it continues to be evil. The way you get it is that whenever you critical hit a weaker Pokemon than you have a chance of it turning evil and becoming this next evolution. It's all of the designs have like are circular, right? Like it's a big fluffy pink thing, and then there's like normal another circle in the middle. The chains from the Chainsaw go inwards, and the circle on the inside of the Chainsaw becomes a mouth instead of just like a little egg or an orb. It becomes almost a fucked up Kirby looking kind of creature, and its chains are inside of its mouth, aka a wood chipper, and it becomes
almost like a Dune popcorn bucket.
Yes, right in the bussy or whatever. And then it becomes dark. It becomes Dark Ghost because at this point it's killed something and it's lost all its innocence. This Pokemon is called a Chipsy.
A Chipsy. Ooh, how do we spell this one?
Chipsey. So like Blissey, but chip. Because
CHIPSEY. PSE. Oh, okay, got it.
Like Chipsey, like Blissey, but chip, wood chipper.
I like this one a lot. I feel like this is just a very good straight down the middle peanut butter and jelly sandwich of a Pokemon where, it's not necessarily out here to wow you with any crazy lore like Fighter Jeff absorbing the spirit of the child, Jeff, that dragged it away. But I feel like it's still very solid. Looking over at this list, I feel like, I gotta be honest, I think the best spot to put this one is directly above the original Chansaw. I think it's a little bit of a step up from Chansaw, not so much that I think I'd put it above any of the other ones, but I think that's exactly where it's deserving of going. Yay, the numbers fix themselves. I don't know why it was weird before. I was really concerned going into here. All right. Are we ready to make our final few selections in the selection scene?
Let's do it.
This is your last chance to get the Subaru Outback. After this, the Subaru Outback is never coming back. Adam, I will give you first dibs.
Okay. Stop.
You got it! Congratulations.
Subaru Outback, baby.
All right. Chad, unfortunately, you can't get the Subaru Outback, but there's still some other interesting ones.
Stop.
It faded real quick, but you got the steam locomotive.
Okay.
All right. Dave, go for it.
Stop.
You got the
Let's
fire
go.
truck.
Toot, toot.
All right, Danny. Last one up.
Ready, baby. Easy peasy, easy peasy. How about stop? All right, we rock with that. We do
You
the
got
thing.
the helicopter. All right. Adam, do you want me to give you a little bit more time? Or
And
are
this
we
is
ready
just
to
a
go?
brand new. This is an original one, right?
It's another evolution.
Oh, it's another evolution. Okay.
We're still in round 2, baby. It's more evolutions.
Can I ask you a
up the
question,
wazoo.
Cozy?
Yes.
You had mentioned Mega Blastoise Black having an evolution would be illegal, but we only have 2 other Pokemon to choose from. How do we navigate that?
Well, I mean, you can pitch an evolution of a Pokemon that has already received an evolution, so long as that itself is not illegal.
Okay.
Can I do its baby version? Will you allow that of one of these?
A baby version? Interesting. I mean, again, I'll have to deem whether or not it's illegal or not. This is where the deep lore of how the Pokemon games work really come in mind. You know what? Go for it.
I mean, I
I'll
have an
allow
idea for. I just have the idea for the Pokemon, so whatever. Make it be an illusion. That's
I'm
fine.
intrigued by you wanting to make a baby form of a pre-existing Pokemon on the list using a Subaru, specifically a Subaru Outback,
How
a
about
car
this?
known for being big rather than small. Go for it.
Yeah, no. It'll be the evolution of Dizrola.
Okay.
Because it's going to upgrade a little bit.
Okay.
So this is again evolution of Dizrola. It is a Pokemon. It is the Super Outback Pokemon. The idea for this is going to get deep into it, and Cozy, you will appreciate it, and Chad will appreciate it. Maybe no one else. So the only way to get this Pokemon, you have to get it in America. So if you want it in Canada, you have to trade with someone in America to get it over the
Okay.
border into Canada. So we're going there first. You like that?
Okay.
The idea of this Pokemon is it becomes, let's just say like an armadillo-ish monster that stands on its hind legs.
Okay.
And it kind of glows up its fashion. It kind of starts wearing a
What?
plaid shirt instead of the headphones and the sunglasses. It wears plaid shirts. It's got some nice high-waisted jeans on it. And it gets like a long swoop haircut that kind of goes down in front of its face. And it is, I mean, the joke is that Super Outbacks are lesbians' favorite cars. So all of these variants are females. They have plaid shirts and nice, cool haircuts. And they are lesbians from America that you have to trade over into Canada.
Okay.
We're done.
What's it called? What's it called?
What's it called? Rizrola.
Rizrola. Okay.
So here's what that.
Okay.
I'll explain it for
Okay.
Danny
Okay.
and Dave.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Can I explain the joke?
Sure. Sure.
So apparently, Alex's parents got a Subaru Outback
Okay.
30 years ago, and they went to America to buy it, and then had to smuggle it over the Canadian border. That's the story. So that for him to get it, this Pokemon, that's the only way we can get it. And then also, I didn't know this. Chad told us is that Subaru Outback is like the poster child car for lesbians. I didn't know that, but apparently that is like a real thing that like lesbians love Subaru Outbacks. So I mixed the going over the border illegally into Canada as well as it's a cool lesbian Pokemon as well.
The only thing I find issue with that is it does come across as just a little phobic to be like, oh, lesbians are illegal to cross the border. It just seems a little,
That's just
risque.
Canada, though.
Yeah,
It's just a
sure,
Canadian
but
thing.
like, I don't
We
know.
love them in America. Do whatever you want.
Sounds
but
a
up there,
little.
you know,
Listen,
you gotta.
Pokemon learned about being
Also,
problematic after Jinx. I'm just saying, I don't think.
Yeah,
they'd go down
exactly.
this
Pokemon's got a
stuff.
history of being problematic and
Back then,
stereotypical. So,
But you think they're gonna do it again? You think they go
don't
down and do
wanna-
that again?
I
tell
didn't
me,
wanna say
when's the
anything in
last
round
time
one.
Pokemon changed its formula or anything about the way that it works over the last 30 years?
Legends Arceus, sir. Legends Arceus was a rather change.
All right.
in
All
how the
right.
games work.
All right. Let's wrap it up. I mean, here's the thing. I appreciate you, Adam, just slavishly, calling back to jokes and references from throughout the show. I appreciate that you remember
Only reason I
most of the
wanted it.
details of that story, even though you got most of them wrong. What was actually happening was it was during that brief point in time in 2007, or maybe it was 2008, where Basically, the value of the Canadian dollar and the American dollar were almost 1-to-1. And so it was very cheap for us to go into America and like purchase the car there and then import it back into Canada. And that's how we got our hands on it. And also, we only got it 15 years ago, not 30 years ago. You got that fact incorrect as well.
Tough. That's tough.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting, perspectives have been shared here.
Hold on.
What is it, Chad?
Isn't it a 2007 Subaru Outback?
I'm pretty sure it's 2008.
Even so, that's 16 years. Technically, 2008
Well,
models are sold in 2007.
But if its birthday was like at the end of 2008, technically it would be 15.
No, if its birthday was at the end of 2007, that would make it a 2008 model.
A lot of interesting thoughts and opinions have been shared
You're not talking about the lesbian.
whether or not Rizrola
representation here.
is exploitative or not. I mean, here's the thing. You were, I feel kind of the problem with the Subaru Outback on this list is everyone's like, oh man, I really want the Subaru Outback, but then you actually get to it and it's like, well, what even is this thing? I have a better, easier time of conceptualizing all these other things as Pokemon, but this thing's kind of a weird nothing burger unless you're calling back to all these arcane references on the Respawning Fire podcast. All that said, I don't think you did that bad of a job, and so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put it at the number 6 spot on the list, underneath Dizrola. I don't think that it exceeds its evolution, but I don't think it's that much worse.
I will say,
or rather, it's pre-evolved form.
Cozy, give me my one.
Okay.
The only reason I wanted that that engine was to make the joke about your parents smuggling a car and to point out the lesbian thing. I knew it was going to be an awful pitch. I did not care. I wanted it for the joke. That's all that matters to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Adam, aka Chad, aka Real Chad, are you ready to go?
I can't remember which one I am anymore.
You were the steam engine.
Okay. No, I mean, am I Adam? Am I Chad? Am I Real Chad? Am I Adam? I don't remember anymore.
Got it.
Okay. Steam engine. So, in this new version of this Arceus, this Legends black-white thing, they're introducing a new, terastallizing, mega evolution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're introducing a new system where you can augment your mega evolutions by having them hold an item.
Oh, shit.
And so if you mega evolve Blastoise, which normally turns into a tank Pokemon called Mega Blastoise Black, colloquially referred to as Mega Blastoise, if you mega evolve while it holds a Firestone, which is a canonical evolution item in Pokemon lore, then it becomes Steam Engine, which is a water-fire type Pokemon. And it looks very similar, but instead of the treads, it has the train wheels with the little bars that connect the wheels as they go. And it has the singular cannon, except for now it's on top, pointed up. Instead of pointed forward like a tank, it's pointed up. And it damages people using steam, which is why it's water-fire type as well. So very, very hot water to damage your opponents. And that is called Mega Blastoise Gray. Because these are the new gray evolutions. You have the white and the black versions, and the new gray version.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I'm very seriously contemplating where it is I want to put this bad boy. Here's the thing. I like a lot of things about this pitch. Number one, and this is a weird place to start, but I like the fact that you brought back the Firestone. The Firestone, the Leaf Stone, the Water Stone. These were all evolutionary stones that were introduced in the first generation of the Pokemon games that were used a little bit afterwards, but they've kind of fallen out of favor since then. And so I like you thinking up, well, what would be a cool new use for the evolution stones in the modern Pokemon games? Give it to a Pokemon when it's mega evolving, and you turn it into an alternate mega evolution that has the attributes of that stone. That's a really cool idea. I also, when we originally went over the rules for this round, I was like, hey, if you make an evolution of a mega evolution, that's illegal. And I like how you circumvented that. And we're like, well, no, it's not an evolution of a mega evolution. It's an alternate version of it. It's an gray version of it, for a lack of a better word. And speaking of which, Mega Blastoise Gray, I feel like that's a good kind of play on, kind of follow up from Mega Blastoise Black. I gotta be honest. It's not necessarily the favorite pitch I've heard thus far tonight. It's not necessarily my favorite pitch, but it's pretty damn good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put him at number 5 underneath Goblow, above Gizrola.
I got to be 100% honest with y'all. I was so interested in whatever this Subaru Pokemon was going to be that I totally forgot what I was pitching until my face appeared on the screen to pitch it.
By the way, I have put a thing. What do you call these? An article from the Athletic or from the Atlantic.com about why Subarus have become a lesbian car in the past 20 years.
Hell yeah.
All right, Dave, are you ready?
I am. Okay. So, Danny, the what was Road Trip?
Toad Trip?
Toad Trip was rock
Two
and
Ps,
electric,
PP.
right?
Yep, Electric Rock. Yep.
Electric rock. Okay, so I'm gonna do an evolution of Toad Trip. Still got the frog theme.
So
I got a
this
fire
is,
truck this
just so
time.
that we're clear, this is an alternate evolution of Toad Trip. 'Cause-
Alternate evolution, correct? Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Yes, right. Because Toad Trip normally evolves into Crockenroken, and this is the other evolution of it.
Right.
Okay.
So, what I've got going on, I have an affinity-based evolution for Toad Trip, and I'm going to make it even more special than the regular affinity-based evolutions. It is an affinity and location-based evolution for Toad Trip. So, if Toad Trip likes you and you're in a place that is hot, such as a volcano or a burning city or something like that, forest fire, what have you, then Toad Trip evolves into the fire truck version, which is rock and water. And as you explained with Toad Trip before, Toad Trip has the rocks in the wheel well. We're generating electricity. This time we're generating water, which will create a kind of slip and slide situation where you can just zoom through. We're still going with the, ramming enemies type motif for how they fight. But with the aid of your own self-created slip and slide, the world is your slip and slide, if you will.
Yeah.
So I have, created this. We have the fire truck also because we're going with the frog toad theme. We got a water cannon out of its mouth as some frogs can do. So to fit with the fire truck theme there. And we're calling this Slip and Trip, keeping the trip with 2 P's at the end.
Trip.
Yeah, so that is SLIPPNTRIPP.
Yeah.
2 P's.
Correct.
See, this is tough because we just got another fire water type Pokemon in the form of Mega Blastoise Gray.
This
And
is
so-
water
his
rock.
is water rock.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is a fire truck that is water and rock.
Yeah.
okay. There are so many elements that are being tossed out nowadays that I
Right.
got things
Fire
completely
trucks don't create
confused.
fire; they fight fire.
Right,
Exactly.
which is something I would have dinged you on, but yeah, you got that
And
right.
Metallica says you fight fire with fire, though.
I mean,
is
this
true.
It
is
would be wrong.
It did say that. We should have had Metallica on the list of engines.
Steel type.
Whew. I mean, it's a really solid, a really solid pitch. I can't hate on it. At the end of the day, I think I'm gonna have to put this guy underneath Mega Blastoise Gray. I think he's solid, but I don't know. I feel like Toad Trip and Crockenroken, I feel like it's just been diminishing returns. It feels like we're trying to extract blood from a stone multiple times right now, and I feel like the luster has faded, but not bad. Certainly not bad. Danny,
That's fine.
are you ready with your final
I'm
pitch?
so ready. Now, what do we all know Game Freak for doing? Working in separate rooms, bringing ideas together, not being like, oh, shoot, that really doesn't go with this one, but I think we can make it work. Prime example, Remoraid, a fish turns into an octopus. Doesn't make sense. So sometimes things turn into things that don't make sense. For example, Goblow, a nice little air or leaf blower. Like, what's that going to turn into? A helicopter. Now,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
how does this work? Let me explain. Once Goblow reaches level 25, when you have a battle out on the ocean, when you lose a battle out on the ocean, So when Goblo dies in the water, it turns into a stranded helicopter. So retaining that ghost type, but becoming ghost grass, or leaving ghost grass to become ghost water. So you're seeing this dilapidated helicopter. Imagine like Delmai's energy, the seaweed and everything dripping off, crazy chompers and like the nose part of the helicopter. But here's the kicker. It keeps the leaf blower portion. Since this thing is dilapidated, it can't function, it gets 2 booster leaf blowers on the back that it uses to propel itself through the water. But that's not all. It also gets a new signature move. So, because it's a helicopter, we'll say this was one of those like fire rescue helicopters, drops a bunch of water, right? So, this guy is picking up water while he's sitting in the water, uses the leaf blowers, turns them vertical, and then launches into the air and drops water on the enemy, just submerging them, right? And what's this guy's name? Blowpeller.
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 Wow. Wow. Wowie zowie.
Wowie
There was a
zowie.
lot going on with this one. Here's the thing. This one was a masterclass in subverting expectations. When you present that, oh, it's a Pokemon that evolves from a Goblo when a Goblo faints out at sea, I thought, oh, I get it. Goblo is fainted out at sea. He's putting up an SOS signal. Blowpeller is going to show up and rescue him out at sea. And it's like, no. This isn't a helicopter that's in the air. This is a dilapidated helicopter that is just sloshing around in that salty seawater. I mean, right off the bat, you had me sold right there. And I feel like every extra detail that you layered on there was just multiple just layers of sickly, sweetly goodness in this delicious
Exactly.
Pokemon of a cake. I mean, I gotta be honest. I didn't think we were gonna do this late into the game, but I think we have a new number one.
Oh
That's
my
right.
Let's
God.
go. Blowpeller's the boy.
Which means that as it stands, the list currently looks like this. In the number 1 spot, we have Blowpeller, the helicopter Pokemon that is the evolution of Goblo. At number 2, we have Road Trip, the RV Pokemon. At number 3, we have Crockenroken, the Road Roller Pokemon and one of the evolutions of Tow Trip. At number 4, we have Fighter Jeff, the Fighter Jet Pokemon and the evolution of Zepblim. At number 5, we have Goblo, the Leaf Blower Pokemon. At number 6, we have Mega Blastoise Gray, the steam engine Pokemon that is the alternate version of Mega Blastoise Black. These sound like Dragon Ball names. At number 7, we have Slip and Trip, the fire truck Pokemon and the evolution of Road Trip, the other one. At number 8, we have Dizrola, the cement mixer. At number 9, we have Rizrola, the Subaru Outback evolution of Dizrola that may or may not be problematic. And at number 10, we have Mutant Putin, the space shuttle Pokemon. And our scores are currently standing at 30 for the red team and 17 for the yellow team. But the show is not quite done just yet because we have one final round and it's a little bit shorter than the previous few rounds, but it will be an opportunity, if people play their cards right, to claim one of the opposing team's Pokemon using a little thing that Chad has already alluded to called regional variancy. You see, starting in Generation 7, the Pokemon franchise introduced regional versions of some of its oldest monsters. These variants typically featured radically different typings and habitats than their original counterparts. For example, Vulpix, a classic Generation 1 fire Pokemon known to inhabit grassy plains, was given a Ice-type regional variant called Alolan Vulpix that inhabits snowy mountains. Each subsequent game in the franchise has brought more and more of these regional variants into the fold, and now it's your time to do the same. In this round, the final round of tonight's installment of Pitch Perfect, each team will choose one and only one entry on the list belonging to the opposing team and pitch me on how they would do a regional variant version of that particular entry. The team that makes the better pitch will take over the slot on the list belonging to the Pokemon they're regionalizing, and in doing so, take over its point value. So, for example, if the yellow team were to take over Blowpower, they would take over that spot on the list and also gain all of the points associated with it. Means that you can really eke out a last-minute victory if you play your hand well. because this is the last round and we're only hearing one pitch per team, the four of you are free to do your pitch collaboratively with your partner. Yellow team, because you're currently in second place, I'll let you choose first what Pokemon you want to regionalize.
Chad, do you have any ideas here?
I do have an idea that's baking right now in my brain noggin for Blowpeller.
Okay. We'll do that, and then we'll bounce off, or I'll bounce. Whatever. We'll do what I can. I got to do the Subaru. That's all that matters at the end of the day, you know? That's one.
I'm confused at what happens next.
You gotta make your pitch.
Oh, we're pitching right now before
Yeah.
they choose theirs? Oh, okay. Okay, so Go Blow died in the water, right? Becomes this Blowpeller, dilapidated thing shooting water streams. If Go Blow in this different region dies from a fire Pokemon, it dies from some kind of fire move, it ignites the gasoline in the Leaf Blower's engine.
Oh, shit.
And suddenly becomes a flamethrower. And so Blowpeller is now, it evolves similar like a Diglett to a Dugtrio kind of thing. It's just multiple flame-throwing Blowpellers. And it's basically this spinning, fire-breathing wheel of death now, whose gasoline is ignited and burning everything in its path. And that is, so far, my thought process around Blowpeller being a fire-based regional variant for this.
Adam, do you want to add anything to this pitch?
Chad's got it. I think that's a good pitch. I don't know what to add to it. I mean, you know, I like the idea. It sounds cool.
All right.
The way that it's made, the way that it looks. I don't see. I mean, it's a fucking flamethrower. Like, what else do you need to say?
Right.
That's amazing.
Right.
What do we want to call this regional version of Blowpeller?
The regional versions always have the same name, Alex. So we're just going to say it is whatever the region Blowpeller.
What do we want to call the region? Give me something. Come on.
Who has flamethrowers? That's the question. What region of the world?
Or fire. Oh, you know what's the Vesuvius?
Oh, like the mountain? Yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll make a Vesuvia region.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Vesuvian Blowpeller.
Blowpeller.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't. Obviously, we need to hear the red team's pitch for this round, but like that right there, calling it Vesuvian Blowpeller, that is what you call a last-minute moving day clutch pro maneuver. I gotta say. But again, we haven't heard the yellow team's pitch just yet. So yellow team, are you ready to pitch your own regional variant of one of the red team's entries?
Dave, are you leaning any certain way?
Sorry.
Do you have anything in mind?
Red team, are you ready to pitch your variant of the yellow team's entry? So you got the colors confused.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, since we control most of the top of the board, we're just, my inclination was to pick their highest one,
right.
which is Fighter Jeff. And it got me
hat.
thinking, about regional variations on the name Jeff. Because different, names have different versions around the world. So you're gonna need your help to like talk this one out. But thinking about the alternate spelling of Jeff, which is Geoff, which is the Western European variation of the name Jeff. So if we want to go with like a region, like the French Riviera and Jeff, but you spell it Geoff. Now I need to know. We need to figure out how to incorporate Western Europe or France into the pitch for how Fighter Jeff came to be. We can alter the backstory here.
So here's what I was thinking, and we kind of mix the two, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking of going with Fighter and going for like a Hisuian form, going Renaissance. I'm thinking Da Vinci, right?
Okay.
So I'm thinking Kiter Jeff.
Kiter Jeff.
Kite like a kite, right?
Uh-huh.
But Fighter Jeff goes all classical Renaissance on us. So rather than having like a modern jet style thing, we have a very simple wooden brackets, paper sails and everything crap.
Yeah,
still in the shape of a jet.
Pokemon Legends version for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That Hisuian form, the Rezuzian form. Let's go with that. That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to find a happy medium between those.
Oh, that works for sure because we're still in that that French type of setting there.
Yeah, yeah. So we want to go with Kiter. What you said? Fighter.
I just changed the spelling of Jeff to Geoff.
Okay, so Jeff. Okay,
Yeah.
so we can do Kiter Jeff, but we go with the other spelling of Jeff.
Right.
So it's the Da Vinci style plane.
Yeah.
Kiter Jeff, Geoff.
Yeah. Or if we are just going with the naming convention for regional variants, we're just the region and then the name. So it would be like Parisian Fighter Jeff.
I like it. Parisian Fighter. I like it.
Yeah, I like that. You go with the Da Vinci wooden glider. Yeah.
Yeah. Flying type. Want to mix in? I mean, I think honestly, flying normal flying. That's pretty. It's pretty on par for flying types.
Just to confirm, is it Parisian Fighter Jeff spelled Jeff, or is it Fighter Jeff Jeoff?
I think it's Parisian Kiter Jeff. Kiter, right? Like kite, like you know the paper type material. Jeff Geoff.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. Also a pretty solid pitch. There's a lot of really interesting ideas at play here. I'm pretty certain that Leonardo da Vinci was not French. I'm pretty sure he was Italian.
But
yeah.
What's the difference?
That's all the same.
I mean, I feel like a lot of Italians might be.
Did he not hang out in
Yes.
France?
Probably at some point.
Did he not? I played Assassin's
Sometimes-
Creed,
he
the
went
one
to
with
France on the
Leonardo da
weekend
Vinci.
sometimes.
He got on
was
the
in
train
France,
and it
right?
took him like 30 minutes. He was no problem.
Yeah.
And the other
Glided
thing
his
about
ass
this
over to Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing about this one is, I mean, you kind of broke a few rules here, because typically it's supposed to be like the name of the region followed by just the name of the Pokemon as it normally is. Chad got it correct. It's just called Blowpeller, but then you add Venusian at the beginning and you get Venusian Blowpeller. Is it Venusian? Vesuvian?
Vesuvian.
Correct. And you kind of broke with tradition there, calling it Parisian Kiter Jeff, with Jeff itself being different.
Say we broke tradition, but I'm just saying in a recent iteration, Scarlet and Violet, we went from having Paldean forms, Whoopers and Tauroses, to just having like, we want to call them regional variants. We're talking whatever we did with Diglett, Wiglet, and Wugtrio. Well, we're mixing the conventions here. It's a different form. It's a different Pokemon, just a different version, different evolution line. Not Pokemon evolution, but natural selection evolution mixed with the regional variations.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of
evolution.
the two. Exactly.
I don't love a lot of the name changes you made this one. I don't think it would hold up in Pokecourt. But you know what?
Wow.
You know what? Chad here, and I'm talking about real Chad, not Adam. I'm talking about real Chad. Chad here was put on the spot, and he was like, you know what? What if this thing was just covered in fire and burned multiple of him? That was his entire pitch. He had a total of 3 seconds to come up with it, and that's all he could come up with? Come on now. Ladies and gentlemen, again, only gentlemen because there are no ladies here. I think I know which one is going to take over which. And ladies and gentlemen, again, minus the ladies, it's Parisian Fighter Jeff, aka known as Kiter Jeff.
This is the horseshittiest horseshit I've ever horseshit.
Let's go.
Also, hold on a sec. It's not actually changed to
Breaks
red.
all the rules and is nowhere near as cool as fucking Flame.
Oh no, I accidentally
Was,
activated the
was
glitch
not
again.
the Renaissance about breaking rules.
Hold on a sec.
I asked you.
Exactly. Dave gets it. You guys are really missing the ball on this whole thing. Plus, you had Flame Blower like right there. Blowpeller, Flame Blower, and you just kind of...
This is not an alternate evolution task. This task was a regional variant. I followed the rules, Dad.
I'm gonna cry about it. Boo.
I will say, Leonardo da Vinci did have a residence in France because the king invited him, and he brought
Brought all
Mona
his
Lisa
gliders.
and Saint John
Yeah.
the Baptist with him.
The
So he
Chateau
did
de
live in France.
Couscous.
There we go.
Whose side are
I
you
don't know
on?
why I had to change the I to a
Just
Y in
screw it.
Kiter,
He's on the
but we were
side
able
of
to make it
truth.
work.
It's all good.
And with that, the final scores are in. Red team wins with 37 points. Yellow team, you got in some good ones. I was not expecting Mega Blastoise Gray to be your highest rated entry on the list, but ultimately you only close out the show with 10
No.
points. Not a
Blowpeller was our
bad
highest rated
ending.
entry. Vesuvian Blowpeller was our highest rated entry.
Oh, man. I'm looking over at some of the other, just while we're in the afterglow of all this, I'm looking over at some of the other ones. Do you guys remember when we pitched a Sarlacc pit based Pokemon that has nothing to do with the theming of tonight's episode?
That was
get
your
disrespectful
idea.
that I'm
That was
on
your
here.
idea.
That's true.
I will posit that was your idea.
Dave's got a point.
I mean, that right there is the greatest comeback story of this entire night, that you pitched the worst Pokemon of this entire night, two of the worst Pokemon of this entire night in a row, both Boba Jet and Squee, one after the other, and you guys still managed to pull ahead and pull off a victory. That right here is what it's all about. And with that, we've arrived at the end of tonight's installment of Pitch Perfect. Remember that this production is part of a series of monthly rotating shows that we do, and that you can enjoy new installments of the show a month early if you subscribe to us over on Patreon, over at patreon.com/respawnaimfire. We appreciate your support and encourage any feedback you might have on how to make these productions even better. Danny and Dave, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to do this with us. If people wanted to find you online, where could they do so? And is there anything you're up to that you would want to plug, starting with Danny?
Oh, me? Perfect. Well, hey guys, I'm CGDannyB. I make content about indie games, reviews, recommendations all across on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok when it likes the algorithm, whatever's going on there. I recently started a new indie gaming podcast called Playlog. You can find that on YouTube as well as Spotify, Amazon, all the audio services. It's out there. So if you want to hear us talk about indie games, you find me right there.
And Dave.
Yeah, I'm the host of the Tales from the Backlog podcast. Each episode is a deep dive, kind of analysis review type discussion about usually a backlog worthy game, something you might have sitting around that you haven't gotten a chance to play yet. Adam has been on the show, and if this episode is coming out, a month later or even longer than that, you're going to hear Adam real soon. We talked about Cyberpunk 2077, and that episode was over 3 hours long. We had a lot of stuff to talk about. It was a monster podcast, but that is what I do over there. We dive deep, and every episode is no spoiler for a while. So if you have not played the game, you can still listen to any episode. We're not going to spoil things for you at the beginning of the show, and we will warn you when spoilers start. So once again, that's Tales from the Backlog, and you can find me anywhere just by searching that. I'm also at Real Dave Jackson on Twitter.
All righty. And with that, we'd like to thank you once again for tuning in to Respawn Aim Fire. We'll see you next time.